Have you ever met someone who believes that life should be only about fun and freedom, while another believes it's all about hard work and preparation? This is the story of two such friends, the ant and the grasshopper. But this time, it's not just a fable you heard as a child. It's a modern story about choices, time, and what truly matters when life changes its season. So, sit back, relax, and listen carefully, because what happens between these two friends might just change the way you see your own life. Part 1. The Summer of Dreams. Once upon a gentle summer in a quiet green meadow, the world was alive with warmth. The sky stretched endlessly, painted with soft golden sunlight. The air smelled of honey and grass, and the earth hummed with life. Among the blades of tall grass lived an ant, small, steady, and patient. Every morning he woke with the first touch of sunlight. Without a word, he began his work, carrying seeds, storing grains, building walls to keep the coming rains out. Nearby, his friend, a grasshopper, would strum his tiny wings and sing. His song floated through the fields like laughter on the wind. "Why do you work so hard, my friend?" the grasshopper often asked. "The sun is shining, the meadow is dancing, life is meant to be enjoyed." The ant would smile softly and say, "True, my friend, but summer does not last forever." The grasshopper would laugh, shake his head, and keep playing. And so the days passed, one working, one dreaming. The ant built his little storehouse, one grain at a time. The grasshopper built nothing, except a collection of songs and carefree afternoons. Part 2. The Whisper of Change. One afternoon, as the air began to cool, the ant noticed something different. The breeze carried a new scent, dry leaves, fading flowers. He paused and looked up. The sky was still blue, but somewhere deep within the clouds, the color of change was beginning to appear. He knew what it meant. Autumn was on its way. That night, as the ant stored his last handful of grains, he looked out over the quiet meadow. The grasshopper was still singing under the stars. His music was beautiful, so free, so alive, and for a moment, the ant wished he could live like that too. But then a thought came to him. Even beauty must rest when the season turns cold. The next morning, the air was cooler still. The ant hurried to strengthen his walls. The grasshopper stretched lazily, ignoring the chill. "Winter's still far away," he said, plucking at his wings. "Why worry now? There's plenty of time." The ant simply nodded and continued his work. Part 3. The Coming of Winter. And then, as quietly as a sigh, winter arrived. The sky turned pale and heavy. The once green meadow turned white with frost. The flowers bowed their heads and disappeared beneath the snow. The laughter of summer was gone. Inside his small home, the ant was safe and warm. His little storeroom was full. The wind howled outside, but he had enough to last until spring. Then one night, through the sound of the storm, he heard something faint, a soft, trembling voice. He opened the door, and there, in the freezing cold, stood the grasshopper. His wings were wet, his legs shaking, his once bright eyes filled with fear. "My friend," the grasshopper whispered, "I have no food, no shelter. May I stay with you?" The ant looked at him, the same friend who had once danced through golden fields. For a long moment, he said nothing. Then he gently opened the door wider. "Come in," said the ant softly. "You are welcome here." He gave the grasshopper food and warmth. Days passed, and slowly, the color returned to the grasshopper's eyes. Part 4. The Lesson of Seasons. As they sat together one night, listening to the snow whisper against the window, the grasshopper finally spoke. "I used to think work was boring," he said quietly. "But I see now that you were not just working. You were preparing for life." The ant smiled. "And I used to think singing was useless. But your music reminded me to rest and enjoy the days that pass. Perhaps we both had something to learn." They shared a warm silence, two different souls, learning from the same world. When spring returned, the meadow came alive again. The ant stepped out of his home and felt the soft breeze on his face. The grasshopper followed, carrying his old instrument, now repaired and gleaming. This time, he didn't just sing. He worked alongside his friend. They gathered grains in the morning, and when the sun dipped low, they sang songs together. The ant learned joy. The grasshopper learned wisdom, and together they built something stronger than shelter. They built balance. Part 5. The Modern Reflection. Now, my friend, maybe you've noticed, this isn't only a story about insects. It's about us. In our own lives, we all have a little ant and a little grasshopper inside. The ant reminds us to prepare, to save, to think ahead. The grasshopper reminds us to live, to sing, to breathe in the present. But problems come when we forget the balance between the two. If we only work, we lose joy. If we only play, we lose security. Life is like the changing seasons. We cannot stop winter from coming, but we can choose whether we face it empty or ready. And perhaps the greatest wisdom is this: prepare like the ant, enjoy like the grasshopper. For together, they make life both safe and beautiful. If this story touched your heart, take a moment to think. Which one are you more like, the ant or the grasshopper? Maybe today is the day to bring them both into balance. Thank you for watching Wisdom Mindset Tales. If you enjoyed this calm and thoughtful story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories filled with wisdom, peace, and lessons for life. Until next time, keep your heart gentle, your mind curious, and your soul prepared for every season.